And we are back with Talking Elite. Thank you guys so much for all the support, all the love. And thank you guys so much for understanding mental health is a serious thing. So I'm back, recharged, ready to go. I'm super excited. And we have some new people on the podcast. So let me introduce you guys to my tag team panel. We have a great selection. We have the most professional podcaster. We have Zach. Zach, how you doing today, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing good, Lane. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. I'm just starting out my journey, but very grateful to be here with you all and talk about the greatest sport in all the universe.
Amen, brother. Amen. Hey, it's a pleasure to meet you. This is our first time actually speaking. So I'm excited to get to know you, and this show's going to be awesome. I'm super excited for you to kick it off with us tonight. Next, we have the Bubba to my Devon. We have the Bearded Runner.
There we go.
We have Adam. Adam, how you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you, Lane. So I'm glad you got that little break for yourself, So I know Connor and I have been talking about how much we miss you. So it's good to see you again.
Yeah, I missed you guys too. I was just sitting there, a few of the nights when I was kind of just recharging, and I'm like, man, I bet they're having so much fun watching this, and I just wish I should just come back, but I wasn't fully ready. So yeah. And then finally we have the genius. We have the wild card. We have the guy that predicted CM Punk coming back to Collision. We have Connor. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm glad that we were able to bring this show back. I know a lot of people wanted it back, so I'm glad we were able to, as Excalibur said, give the people what they want. So,
because see, unlike what happened a few years ago with the Authority figure line, we actually listen to our fans. So yeah, it's a real pleasure to have you guys on. Talking Elite is back, and I am super stoked. We have a lot of cool things in the work. For the show, we have a new logo. We have a new video coming soon for an intro. We all have been putting in a lot of work behind the scenes just for this relaunch, and I'm super excited. So, gentlemen, we have a big story to talk about tonight, don't we?
yeah.
Big one.
Just a little bit,
Just a little one.
Yeah. Well, I think we knew that Collision was coming, but I am so glad it's officially made. Tony Khan announced it. And I cannot be, more stoked to have a new show on Saturday night. I feel like it's paying homage to WCW. Like, what do you guys think?
Well, I guess I'll go first. Well, obviously the logo. I know Eric Bischoff raised a fit about that. The Collision logo and the stuff like that, but it looks good. And I had to tell him that WCW did go out of business, so they don't have rights. He doesn't have rights to that anymore. Technically, Vince would, but I doubt he even cares anymore. But now I'm curious to see what the stage is going to be, because I know someone made a thing with CM Punk in the old WCW stage, so I'm wondering how they're going to do the stage. But I really like everything that they've done so far for Collision, like the matches and everything.
And we'll get talking about the main event here very shortly, but I feel like you kind of have to have a different stage setup than Dynamite. I feel like you have to either pay homage to WCW, bring the tunnels back. I don't know if you would do something like that, or just do something crazy and different. Like, I think that's something that I think you got to start off with a bang and have that separation, not just from WCW, but from Dynamite too. Like, I know that's something that WWE has done well, where they've had different set pieces for different shows over the years. So hopefully we'll get something really cool. Zach, what do you think about it? Do you think we're going to see a pretty good stage set up for it, or pay homage to WCW? What's your feelings on it?
Well, yeah. So, just hearing you talk, Connor, it brought me back to my childhood, right? When I fell in love with pro wrestling, and it was a Saturday night main event when Bret Hart faced Papa Shango, I believe. And Shawn Michaels won the IC title against the British Bulldog. So I have that emotional tie to Saturday night. And I do agree. It reminds me also of the Saturday night WCW show. So yeah, I hope that they use the past and to influence this creation. I don't want it to look the same, but I want to see that influence, and that's why I love AEW too, because they pay homage to the past.
Yeah, I totally agree. So it's gonna be fun to see. Adam, what's your thoughts on almost like being similar to WCW with being on TNT, the logo? What's your feelings on it?
Well, I'm with Zach here. I grew up during the Monday Night War era. I got to see WCW go head to head with WWF at the time, or WWE now. I got to enjoy that. I watched even when SmackDown launched in the late '90s. Watched that set with the fist coming through was kind of an awesome set for my eyes. I mean, that was the coolest pro wrestling company set I've ever seen in my life. And then obviously, you had companies like ECW who didn't have the money and the finances to get those crazy sets, but they had the greatest stories going on in ECW. They had some of the, most extreme moments and everything like that. So it does kind of bring back some of that childhood memory for me. And I'm actually excited that AEW actually has now another 2-hour show. I know we're probably going to get into it, but with the size of their roster, now we're going to be able to see more of the wrestlers featured on both of these shows, and including Rampage too on Fridays.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. Like I said, it's coming up here actually very fast. Isn't what, less than 2 weeks away now?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be it's crazy that's gonna happen, and then. Let's address the cult of personality elephant in the room. And actually had a lot of positive feedback. I know there's a few fans are really butthurt for some reason about Punk coming back. But CM Punk is officially coming back. What is your guys' take on that? Should they have announced it like they did? Or do you think they should have waited and have it be the first moment a surprise when Collision went on air? What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I guess everyone knows if you've been watching this podcast, I've pushed for this a lot. But we talked about it a little bit last night that it's not going to have the same impact as it did for Rampage. But I get the reason why they advertised him ahead of time for ticket sales, ratings, stuff like that, which they could have had the 6-man, the main event, which we'll get into later. They could have put that main event out and had FTR as a mystery person and just have the mystery person be Punk. But I like the way Tony did it. He just flat out said CM Punk. He didn't waste any time. He just came out and flat out said it. I'm excited for Punk to be back, especially with the first matchup he's going to be in. A lot of history with someone that he'll be going against. Then something new. With 2 people who's in the main event that Punk's never worked with. Yeah, I'm excited for Rampage. I think that they did it best. But I think before they announced it, fans were under the assumption that Punk was going to be there, just with the rumors. But yeah, I think he did it the best way he could have.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about it because I kind of disagree with you a little bit. I wish they would have kept it for a surprise, but the business side of me is okay, we're struggling a little bit with ticket sales. We need that draw to come in for Collision, and especially with being Chicago. And as soon as they announced it, it's pretty much almost sold out right now, if I remember correctly, or getting pretty close. So yeah. I feel like I can see both sides of it. I wish it was a surprise, because I think that would have been a great pop, especially when we do our live reaction for it. But yeah. I'm excited to see how he's going to come out, how he's going to play with everybody. I'm excited to see if it's going to lead into, potentially, at Wembley Stadium. Hopefully it leads to him versus Kenny Omega, or, CMFTR versus the Elite. So, there's a lot that's going to happen. I think that with this second show, it's going to really help push both stories of if they want to play off of the Elite versus CM Punk and FTR. What do you think, Zach, about the announcement? Were you okay with it? Were you run me through your process? Were you happy that he's back? Were you concerned? What was going through your head?
So yeah, I agree with you, Lane, in regards to the business side. I totally get why they did it. Like as soon as he announced that Collision was premiering in Chicago, I'm like, oh yeah, CM Punk's coming back. But yeah, no, I'm a huge, as they say, I'm a huge mark for CM Punk. You know, I love him. I love him ever since I'd say probably like 2000. What was that 2011? That SummerSlam where they had that storyline after the pipe bomb, and he took that belt from Cena, and like ever since then, like he had me. And when he left WWE, it did break my heart. So I empathize with that guy who cried on TV. You know, a lot of people gave him heat, but I was like, no, I get it. And then he left again. I'm like, oh man, like, so, but I'm very excited for him to come back and to make this show like his show and put his artistic touch on it, if you will.
Yeah, I'm excited to see, especially with having Miro come back. Having there's so much possibility with Collision, and when CM, especially with CM Punk, I knew that he was going to come back because there was no way that his relationship with Tony Khan's still pretty well from what I've gathered backstage and dirt sheets, but who knows with dirt sheets anymore at this point. but just looking at it, it's money wise, it's gonna make money. Even like because people are going to tune in just to hate on it. People are going to tune in just because they love and support CM Punk. So either way, AEW is going to get those viewerships back up. I would say you'll probably crack at least 1 million, maybe 1.25 million. I'm guessing for that first episode. But I think with the steam and just the energy, I think we're gonna see almost like a renaissance of AEW. I feel like we're like in a second portion. Unfortunately, they've kind of gone away from some of the things from the original, conception, like the rankings. But I think now I feel like we have a lot of steam going ahead. Adam, like, what do you think about it? Do you think CM Punk's going to help the situation? Do you think it's going to progress AEW, or do you think we're kind of going back to before Brawl Out?
Well, I myself, like Zach and Connor, am a CM Punk mark. I mean, I'm originally from Chicago. I'm with Pepsi Phil, as Danhausen likes to call him. I think Punk coming back is the smartest business move you can have, especially. I think it's smart. I know some people are going to complain, but I think it's smart until the tensions wear down, which I hope they can just wear it down and realize, listen, this is a business. We got to get along. But it is smart to keep Punk on Collision and keep, the Elite on Dynamite, just to keep that tension down. But it is a smart business move, bringing Punk back and teaming him up. First match, his match back with FTR. And like Connor said, getting him against a match with someone he has history with in Ring of Honor with Samoa Joe, but also with someone like Jay White, who a lot of people are talking that CM Punk, as I've been reading, is very high on Jay White. And he's one of the people he really wants to work with, in the company. And then you talk about storylines you can carry on from that, with Wembley coming up. I mean, the talk of the town right now, like you said on the dirt sheets, but hey, the dirt sheets are dirt sheets, but the talk of the town is CM Punk versus Kenta. I think that you add that match to the already 2 matches you have on that card, which is Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay for the NWGP United States title, and you already got Okada versus Danielson. So you add Kenta and CM Punk right in that card at Forbidden Door. Not I meant Forbidden Door, not Wembley. My bad.
You're good. We gotcha.
But at Forbidden Door, you had that match, and oh my God, that arena is going to be sold out because there was 3 solid matches with some of the top professional wrestlers in the whole world. Right there. I mean, those are your 3 main events right there for that pay-per-view. So I think CM Punk, I mean, I think it's a smart move getting him back, and it's smart getting him in a 6-man tag. It gives him time to, get back from the ring rust that he had with not only his time off from his suspension, but also from his injury. Because people have to remember he was also having an injury recovery. I think it was his elbow or something. He was having an injury recovery from his elbow. So I think that him coming back, I think you're going to see a lot of good storylines coming along, not only to Collision but Dynamite. We're seeing it already in Dynamite. So I'm pretty excited to see CM Punk come back and see what he can do.
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy time for sure. I know we say that a lot in wrestling just because it just feels like ever since Brawl Out, there's been a lot of like negative energy and just negative, I think just almost like a bias in a way where it's not really fair on AEW. Yes, some of the booking decisions, we could go into a whole podcast, and we probably will eventually, on some of the recent booking decisions. I know we've discussed it in a few other watch-alongs, but I think they're not. I think some people are just still hurt about what happened and think they know what happened. So I think now it's like you have the time to actually. I think if I was Punk, you have to be real. You have to lay that dirty laundry out onto in the ring and be like, hey, like, the Elite was not cool. They were releasing stuff in the dirt sheet just to get numbers. Like, just start out with that. Start out hot. Keep the two groups separated and just build that storyline slowly, and then have something big happen towards Wembley. Because I think you kind of have to. I think you need to pay that off. And I think the Elite and FTR, I think they want to do business and get this match done. Dax has even said, hey, like, this is the biggest match that possibly could happen in AEW history right now just because of what happened. Look at what happened with Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett. Heck, there was a lot of cheating and adultery, but they were able to put that aside and work together and make lots of money. And I think that's kind of what AEW needs to do. And
I mean, what you also think about, Lane, too, with the, and we talk about it a lot with the business side of it, is, putting the differences aside. You look at even back in some of the old days, back in the 80s and the 90s, some of those guys had beef. So, if I can remember, back in ECW, Tommy Dreamer and Raven did not like each other in real life. They didn't get along, but they worked with each other on ECW because it drew the crowd. It made the business better. You had some of the old 80s, WWF guys. Some of them hated each other, but yet here they are going WrestleManias, wrestling each other and everything like that. So I think you were on a point there with getting these the match, set.
Yeah. Like I said, I think now you have so much going on, so much big things happening in AEW. I know Connor is just jumping over the moon. As you guys know, that he's probably the biggest CM Punk mark on this podcast. Like one of these days, we got to do we're gonna start clipping, and we're gonna show the clip that we got into a fight over after Brawl Out.
Yeah.
Connor, how are you feeling with CM Punk? Are you like super stoked? Are you about to just wear nothing but CM Punk shirts and watch nothing but Collision, or what do you think? Do you think it's going to help both shows successfully, or do you think it's going to have the start of steam for Collision and then kind of taper off to where Dynamite's at?
Just to be clear, I'm not crying about this. If you see I'm watering, I just got to comment on something that was really funny. But about CM Punk, I'm still going to watch everything that Dynamite, Rampage. I'm still going to watch everything, but I think Collision will be. I went to a lot of guys that's coming back. We're going to get to see the House of Black a lot more. Andrade's coming back. Miro, Scorpio Sky, Thunder Rosa in some capacity. I actually just bought a CM Punk shirt a few days ago just to have it in time for Collision.
Of course you did.
I'm really excited for CM Punk to come back. I've been watching a lot of his old matches on Honor Club, and Punk and Joe really stuck out to me. But also Raven and Punk, the dog collar match. It was really, really good. It reminded me a little bit of MJF and Punk. There's a lot of promos and a lot of the real life stuff that they put into it. I don't know how else I can express how much I'm excited that Punk's back, but I'm really, really, really excited that Punk is finally back.
Yeah, let's just say when me and Connor talked off air, like every time we brought up CM Punk, his eyes just sparkle. He's got this smile, the passion back in wrestling. I think that's the thing. It's like, there is something about CM Punk. And after I'll say my statement, we'll go to the comment section and kind of go over kind of what our comment section, because our comment section is just blowing up. But I am so glad that he is back, because he was like one of the first wrestlers that had me sold on wrestling. So I'm glad and happy for Connor. I'm happy for all of us that we get to share the experience of the debut of CM Punk. Also, guess who finally joined us, because he's fashionably late. Michael, how you doing, buddy? It's nice to meet you finally.
Nice to meet you as well. Yeah, I'm tardy to the party, but I want to concur with everyone that CM Punk's the best, and I'm excited to see CM Punk.
Yeah, Connor's got some competition
Nothing
on here
really
with
to say
Michael.
besides, I'm excited.
Oh, are we gonna have we're gonna have like a CM Punk versus CM Punk match. Once the new game starts coming out, to see who's the better CM Punk fan, and we'll have that's another fun venture we should do, is eventually get into Twitch streaming and stream that game.
Yeah, that's the
awesome.
plan.
Yeah. Well, Michael, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on. Are you excited for Collision? Like, what's your thoughts about rolling into Collision, since I've already asked the other guys?
Oh, I'm excited for Collision. As I said before, the CM Punk show has me excited enough as it is, but I'm also excited that the other wrestlers on the show, FTR, Miro, Andrade, Thunder Rosa, I think they're all great wrestlers, and I think they're going to make the show even better.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. So Connor, let's go through the comment section. You want to pull up some comments for us to go over and kind of comment, and then we'll continue on the show from there. Yep. Cody says Joe versus Punk 4. I'm super excited, because I know that was kind of what rumored had it that was going to happen with Punk coming back. Thanks, Pro Wrestling Goat. It's a pleasure. Jason, good to see you again. Missed you. Bearded Wonder Buddy. There we go. Brandon, hi. Good to see you, Brandon. Davis, what's up? Good to see you. He agreed with Zach's comment from earlier. How are you doing, Connor?
Good. Pretty good.
Good. Jason is excited for CM Punk coming back. I think we all are buzzing about it. Let's see. We gotta ask, what do y'all think about what do you think CM Punk will bring when he returns? How do you feel about his return? I think we kind of answered that a little bit with how we feel about it. But I feel like he brings that star power to the show. Mike Morris is really excited to have Punk back. We are too. Oliver wants. Ooh, that's a dream match.
Yeah, that would be a good trios match. Yeah.
So, Oliver put CMFTR versus House of Black. That would be a good one, especially for Full Gear.
5 stars. Yeah. If you don't know, Pro Wrestling Code is a Zach.
Hi, Zach.
Yeah, just trying to fuel the fire per se.
Yeah, fuel the fire, man. Keep it going.
I don't know, Mike. You never know.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Him and that other guy should stand next to each other and just share tears together.
That's something too. Yeah.
I'll be crying too.
I think I was so excited when CM Punk came back. I was legit in tears. You have so much with CM Punk, and you know what? Wrestling, you're supposed to feel emotion. So for you people making fun of the Miz girl for pouting or the CM Punk crying guy, you just don't enjoy wrestling. Then you're either just a really, really, really bad casual fan, or you just don't know how to show emotion. These are big things that are happening in AEW or wrestling in general.
It's still real to me, damn it.
It's still real to me, damn it. Yes.
Kayfabe.
So yes, it's one of those things that I think that's one thing that people forget is we got to show emotion. And I think we need to get excited about stuff like this, even if it's WWE's Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. I think we need to just bring the excitement back and start getting excited for wrestling again, or even if it's just one small match on Dynamite. I feel like that's something that we need. All right, so what do you guys think about con wise? Do you guys see anything negative about having Collision on a Saturday night or in general? Do you guys see anything that could be better, could be worse with how they've approached it, or do you guys think that once Collision happens, we're just going to go straight to the moon with a rocket ship?
I think Collision should have been on Thursday, not Saturday. That's my only gripe with it, because that's Saturdays. I don't know if, again, I think it's been a long time since we had Saturday or a wrestling show on Saturday, but I want to see how it's going to play out, but I do think Collision would have been way better on Thursday.
I agree with that. I think the hard part is, especially with a Saturday night, a lot of people are going to be out. They're going to be with family, friends. It's kind of a hard time slot. I feel like they would have got shafted either way.
I do think ticket wise they're going to do better because rather than during the week, they're being live. It's going to be live every week. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, live events would probably be way better. TV ratings, that's remained to be seen, but I do think live events will be way better.
Well, if you look at it from a TV ratings, if people are out, if they can make, you look at some, business locations, some of them have like TV deals with some, because certain restaurants and certain bars sign contracts with certain networks and certain like Comcast and, all that stuff, and they carry certain channels. So you could have that on at like a restaurant or a bar restaurant or whatever. So people could still be watching it while they're out. You don't have to be at home to be watching it. But
That's
having
a
it
great
on
point.
But having on a Saturday too, I think you have to remember back in the day when SmackDown launched for WWE, you had Raw on Monday and SmackDown on Friday. You had all these days in between where nothing else was going on with the company. They had nothing else on. Well, now you have Dynamite on Wednesday. Now you have Rampage on Friday, and then you have Collision on Saturday. You've already got 2, 1, 2. So now you've got 5 hours of just AEW within a 3 to 4 day span.
I think to concede with your point, with instead of like being spaced out, I think another reason why I would like it on Thursday is because of Wednesday, Thursday. I did because a couple years ago, I liked it better when Raw was Monday and SmackDown was on Tuesday. I like that way better than Monday and Friday. That to me, just back-to-back wrestling and get it out the first of the week was awesome stuff. And I did like to see AEW would do the same. But that is a great point with the bars and stuff and restaurants carrying channels, though.
Yeah.
No. Like I said, when I was at a B-Dubs, like I looked behind me, the TV on, because one of my buddies I was with said, "Dude, look what's on behind us." I looked around, it was old Ring of Honor. Like it was like 2005 Ring of Honor. It was like Claudio versus Tyler Black, aka Seth Rollins, and then the match after that was like Bryan Danielson versus someone, and I was like, "Holy crap, that's old school Ring of Honor right there!" And I was just watching it the entire time.
I remember during the pandemic, because Texas is was a little lenient with their laws when it came to quarantine, and they kind of left it up to the business. So there was this bar we would go to, beautiful outside patio karaoke. It's 2:00 in the morning. We still have like about a half hour left before closing time. And I look over and I see right before he made his AEW first appearance, Jeff Cobb. I see Jeff Cobb walking. I'm like, that's Jeff Cobb. And then I see Danhausen pop up randomly on TV, and I'm like, it was pre-pandemic time, but it was just at least the match was, and I'm like, this is so interesting. I always felt bad for ROH. I always had the worst time slot. And kind of thinking about with kind of my next point. But looking at with AEW, I think what people forget too is that a lot of people record the shows and watch and stream it later. And I think that it's something that I think we need to take into viewership wise. I think we need to see what those numbers are, because there's times where I'm at the fire department and I can't watch Dynamite, where I have to record it and watch it the next day, or it's I think that people forget that there's going to be recordings, and I think that's going to help AEW a lot. What about you, Zach? How do you feel about being on Saturday? Are you pumped? Are you excited? Watch it every week and just power through a Saturday night on wrestling, or are you kind of going to have to play it by ear on that one?
Yeah. Definitely having a 1-year-old son. I do love the age that we live in, because you can pretty much watch whenever you want. And I'm thinking, wow, what a great Father's Day gift. Thank you, AEW, for launching this on Father's Day weekend. But I do. I like having it on Saturday night. Especially, I'm 40 years old now, so I'm not going out, partying enough like I used to. So yeah, whoop, whoop, raise the roof. But yeah, no, I like it. It's something to watch. My wife loves pro wrestling, so now it's like, hey, we can make like a date night of it. And so yeah, I'm pretty pumped.
Awesome, man. It's gonna be an exciting time for sure. I know that we're gonna try to live stream it as soon as basically as soon as I know we're gonna do the first episode for sure. I think we'll probably do every special. So didn't know if Connor already announced it on the show, but we are gonna be doing a live stream for the debut of Collision. Gotta plug the channel, At least we're not doing every 5 seconds. Plug our merch. But it's gonna be one of those nights that I'm super excited to be a part of. And oh man, I'm just super excited for Collision. Connor, what about you? Like Mr. AEW Shield, what do you think about the pros and cons of it? Do you think it's going to be a great show? Do you think it's in a bad time slot? Like, what's your take on it?
I swear I'm not crying. Some people in the comments, please keep it appropriate. I don't know if anyone else seen it, but I took care of that. It's not on there now, but pros and cons. Some things that, like Zach said, it being on a Saturday, sometimes people don't do things on the weekends, or it's easy to watch on a weekend compared to during the week, because some people they work a lot during the week, so when they get home they're exhausted, and sometimes they don't even watch anything. And for ticket sales, they might do better in ticket sales and ratings with Collision, because lots of fans will go to a weekend show. Like around here, indie shows on a weekend, they do pretty good. But I think they might do better with ticket sales and ratings for Collision. I think for the first few episodes, Collision will do pretty good. Really, the only thing is ratings. You're gonna have to watch for, but I think ticket sales are going to do really good, because a lot of fans are free on the weekends normally to go to a wrestling show if they're in their town, so they probably go to it during the weekend. And it's and it's gonna be live every week. Collision will only be taped once every so often on a Thursday, but Collision's gonna be live for the most part. So
there's one more concern. WWE now holds their pay-per-views on Saturday now. So I wonder how that's gonna be.
Do they have the pay-per-views like once a month still, or just?
Yeah, once a month. So I wonder how those Saturdays are gonna be when those pay-per-views hit.
Just split screen it.
That's gonna be the only concern is with that. But I know Collision will be taping sometimes on Thursdays. So.
Yeah, I forgot about WWE doing their pay-per-views on Saturday. But I know, with attendance-wise, it's going to be a lot easier to, go see the show and not have to worry about waking up early in the morning for work. Because last few times I've gone to AEW, it's been midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning once all the tapings are done. So I think it's going to be a good thing, at least for live attendance-wise.
That's why I take off 2 days of work every time I go to a wrestling show, if it's Wednesday or Monday or something.
Same.
Yep.
Because work screwed me over one time, and my fiance does not let me live this down because she's a huge Chris Statlander fan.
Uh-oh.
And we got meet and greet tickets, right? And my shift was supposed to end at a certain time. I was getting ready to leave, and they're like, "Oh, we changed your schedule. You had to work an hour later." I'm like, "You didn't tell me this."
Oh,
and so we missed Chris Statlander's meet and greet by 5 minutes, and she has not let me live that down.
Wow.
But now I don't have to worry about it because now I have a job that's pretty lenient. But yeah,
nice.
Fans in the comments and fans watching, do not let your fiance or wife or significant other or best friend down with work and miss their favorite wrestler. Do not do it. I promise you, it is hell. You'll be paying for it later. But yeah, I'm
true. Words of wisdom.
Yeah, words of wisdom to live by. Look at that. You're getting life advice here on the All Elite Zone. So Yeah, I think there's a lot that's going to happen with this new show. Main event wise, do you think it was the right call? Do you think should have been a singles match like what between Joe and Punk, or do you think that having the Bullet Club and Joe versus CMFTR, like, do you think that was the right call to end your show?
Oh yeah, that's a great call. You don't want to blow your load or in one show. You want to like carry it all through months. So like you don't want to do Punk and Samoa Joe like night one. That could be a pay-per-view match or like another Collision down the road. So I think they picked the perfect match.
Like I said earlier, it's a good call because it brings Punk back into a trios match where he doesn't have to be in the ring long. He can start rehabilitating himself in the ring and getting that ring rust off, in his 6-man tag. So I think it was the right call, and I think it was the right call against the opponents, because you could do a storyline with Joe and Punk on a Collision. You could do, Jay White and a Punk storyline, and you could have an FTR. I mean, look at it too, because rumor mill going around is that new members for Bullet Club Gold, which is is going to get new members. So it's like there's so much storyline you can do with just those 6 guys alone. FTR I think has already passed their whole Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal feud. I think that's pretty much done. So it's time for them to feud with another team, and I think Bullet Club Gold would be a great storyline for them too.
Because I saw rumors that the Ass Boys were going to cause some issues, and apparently they're going to be joining up with Jay White and Juice Robinson. So I don't know, that'd be an interesting combination right there. But I think you kind of have to. I think you need to bring prestige back into Bullet Club. And I think like something's going to happen between Collision and Forbidden Door with Bullet Club, from at least with Japan too, because looking at Jay White, he's kind of got kicked out of New Japan, him and Juice. So I'm excited to see, because that was my biggest gripe last year with Forbidden Door, is you hardly did anything with Bullet Club or the Gorillas. Like you had like potential stories that could have blown people's minds or blown their loads, and you just didn't do it.
I will say for the main event, you can do a lot of things with it. I know some people said it's just going to be an early short program, but Punk versus Jay White will be really, really, really good. As Adam said, he's taken the liking of Jay White. But my prediction for the end, that Kenta is going to join the Bullet Club Gold, and he's going to GTS Punk. Then we're going to set up for Punk and Kenta at Forbidden Door. But
yeah, something's going to happen for sure. I'm excited. Zach, what are you excited? You getting excited, buddy?
I don't know if I can blow up a load per se, but I do agree. Yeah, there's so many storylines that can come from this, and I love that I'm a part of this community now, because I've always loved New Japan, but I never really had the resources or the ability to watch it. So I agree. I want to see Bullet Club kind of get that prestige back, because I never really got to see that in real time. And I think FTR can give a bit of a rub to Bullet Club Gold, and that will kind of build up that storyline. It will be interesting to see, what the Ass Boys, where they end up, because in theory, if they join Bullet Club, then they can take that tag spot, and then Juice and Jay White can kind of focus on single stuff. Because I definitely see Jay White becoming the international champion, breaking that streak. Just the theory. And I love FTR. Who doesn't? So seeing them tag up with my boy CM Punk, it's gonna be awesome.
So PD, I just see him. He just put an interesting comment. I was actually about to get to this too. He's excited for FTR versus Bullet Club Gold, and then he asked, "What about a brand split?" What do you guys think? Do you think we need a full-on brand split like how WWE does it, where you have 2 separate rosters, or do you want them to kind of cross contaminate each other, so to speak?
I will say WWE doesn't know what the heck they're doing. They got the Raw Women's Championship on SmackDown. They got the SmackDown Women's Championship on Raw. They've already broken the whole brand split. So, but I think with like I think
Hasn't even been 6 weeks.
Yeah, no. Like I
It's
tried
almost
watching it.
It's like they went back to like the Authority days when they had we could have like 1 or 2 or 4 guys on SmackDown, and we could have like half the SmackDown roster on Raw because SmackDown had the better talent at the time.
Then they kind of fooled themselves
Those weird
online.
rules. Yeah.
Like they called themselves in a lie too. They said that Roman Reigns is on SmackDown so he can't challenge for the title, but Paul Heyman said that he can't challenge for it because he's a SmackDown guy. But really, the real reason he can't challenge for it is because he's not going to be there every week to go for it. But
yay for participation championships.
But yeah, if I was going to do it, which I think this is the way it's going to work, you got Dynamite's roster and you got Collision's roster. Champions will be assigned to a brand because when they lose a title, they're going to have to be associated with the brand. But I think all champions would cross-brand. And then they trademarked the transfer portal. So I'm looking for that to be something.
Transfer portal?
Yeah, transfer portal. The NCAA basketball does that. They trademarked it.
So a good idea.
Yeah, I was gonna say so that they did trademark that, huh, for AEW.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
So that could be something like every week, someone like maybe Joe goes to Dynamite and Kenny Omega comes to Collision. I think a brand is going to be a benefit for everybody. More people's going to get used, more storylines. Yeah, I'm curious to see how they do that with everything. But I'm for a brand split.
My opinion is
right.
My opinion is I think AEW needs a brand split more than WWE because AEW has a bigger roster, and I think they benefited more. And I think WWE needs to go back to having a unified roster and having one champion for everything because their roster isn't as bloated per se. AEW definitely needs it, so I think they should definitely do a hardcore brand split like back in the day, old WWE. I think that's what they should go for.
Well, I think especially with AEW, we have more stars than just WWE because WWE has pretty much all their eggs in one basket. They have just those few stars like the Rollins, the Styles, but then they have a few of the women, but then there's not many like that you could see. Oh my gosh, they could beat Roman Reigns the next night, maybe besides Cody and Brock and Sami Zayn. With AEW, you have basically the best indie talent, the best sports entertainers all under one roof. And I agree with you on that, Mike. I think you need to have that hardcore split, and then have a few every once in a while have it cross different different brands, especially with Eddie Kingston. I think Eddie Kingston, like I miss him on mainstream TV.
Oh well,
so I feel like he's one of the ones too.
Speaking of Ring of Honor and Rampage, I hate to cut you off there, but
you're fine. Good.
But talking about the brand split, I know people was talking about how is Rampage going to work, like how is people going to be on that. So Dynamite films Rampage. So people that don't get used on the Dynamite 2-hour show will be on Rampage, and then Collision's weekly show. If they don't get used, they'll be on Ring of Honor.
Okay.
They'll film Ring ROH before and after. So
awesome.
Just thought I'd point that out.
Yeah. So basically, it's kind of similar to what they were doing currently, aside without being in Universal Studios. Are they still doing that, or are they kind of stopped?
I know the dark shows they axed to cut back on revenue for Collision. But I think their last time at Universal was this last time they went a week or two ago. That was their last time there. And because they filmed 2 weeks worth, and tonight was one, and the next one's next Thursday. It's coming really fast, Collision. So I'm assuming that they're going to be doing full-on episodes before and after Collision.
We are 1 week away, folks. Almost 1 week away. Oh, man, I'm so excited. So thanks, Petey, for your comment. We really do appreciate it. Man, it's exciting. Going to plug Connor and I's draft series that we've been working on for the last few months, but I think that's going to kind of show kind of why you needed this second show, because we recorded at the time the first 3 episodes right before the announcement of Collision. So we kind of had a hunch that was going to happen, and we kind of used the rumored name because we had some insights. But we kind of sat down and we actually broke it down how you could do 2 separate shows, how you could do the pay-per-view and specials. So it's like I said, it's gonna be a lot of fun when we see that come about too, and also see how it kind of pairs to what AEW is going to go doing forward with this show. Do you guys think we need another big title, or do you think we should just use the North Atlantic Championship?
No. That's my issue with most companies is you're adding too many titles to rosters that are already overcrowded, and it's almost like participation trophies. It's like we don't need to keep handing out titles to everybody. You know what I mean? I'm glad they're getting rid of the 2 belts that freaking Paul Heyman was carrying around for Roman, gave him 1 actual title. So now you just have 1 actual undisputed title and the World Heavyweight title. It's the same thing with the AEW. You got 1 heavyweight champion, you got 1 international champion, 1 TNT champion. It's simple. Read an interview today about Maria Kanellis Bennett saying, "Oh, I would love to see women tag titles." No, please, God, no. I mean, you see the mess that's going on over in WWE with their women tag titles. They're not even relevant at all. I have no idea who the champions are at all right now. So it's like the titles are enough right now for AEW. Your focus right now should be on storylines. Because you got one coming up really well now with the world title with Adam Cole and MJF. I'm so glad that's going to be a story now. I think a lot of people are waiting for it. The promos, I actually went to bed as soon as that promo was done. Connor knows. I was so tired last night. I took a muscle relaxer. I'm like, I need to get some sleep. But I went to bed as soon as that segment was over, and it got me chills. I was like, oh my God, I want to see this match now. So I think you don't oversaturate your company with titles. You need to oversaturate it with storylines, and that's what Collision's going to do. Collision's going to be another weekly show where you can go with these storylines. So yeah, I think we're good on titles.
Yeah. I saw a report from Dave Meltzer earlier. Apparently, Triple H is bringing more titles. Like, I've seen a few reports about that, and it's like, I'm like, no!
Why?
They don't even know what they're doing with their brands for. They need to get everything.
We need less belts overall. I'm so tired of the 2 world titles stick in WWE. We need 1 belt. 1 belt and 1 belt only. Like the old school days. I hate 2 belts.
Oh my God.
I was okay with it, back when Raw and SmackDown were obviously 2 separate shows when we had the World Heavyweight Champion, the WWE Championship. But like Bully Ray says, do you want to be the World Heavyweight Champion of a championship belt that came from a company that no longer exists? Or would you rather be, the WWF, champion where all the greats like Hogan to Cena wore? So yeah, I agree. I don't think we need any more belts. And I feel like you could have like if you want to main focus a belt, just do the North Atlantic Championship or the TNT Championship.
The only time 2 world title belts I felt ever worked was the first few years of the brand split, of the original brand split, because they treated Triple H just as much as they treated Brock Lesnar. They treated them the same. So they were now Roman Reigns is treated better than Seth Rollins. It's just obvious who's the number 1 guy is.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that, like, you don't want Roman Reigns to lose. You want him to beat Hogan's record. You want him to hold that for at least 1,000 days. Because I can't remember. Do you guys remember what Hogan's record was back in the day?
Oh gosh!
Do not ask me that. I have no idea.
I think it's like 1,400 days. That's the record they're going for now.
And it's like
we're gonna get there.
Yeah, there's just. I feel like
and it's all despite the guy too. That's the only reason they're doing this reign for Roman is because of this spite for Hogan, because he has such fallen off with WWF. They're like, let's just erase. That's what they do. They erase people. Yeah. That's a company that doesn't want to acknowledge past crap. Whereas AEW, they've got the Owen Hart tournament.
Yeah.
They're remembering Owen Hart.
Yeah.
You know, and he never even wrestled for AEW. But it's just them honoring the history of professional wrestling.
And it's sad. You know,
Absolutely.
it's really sad that I'm glad that Martha was able to heal and actually let them do it. And I feel like how WWE handled, you know, Owen's death, I feel like that, of course, put a black stain on WWE for her. But to have AEW be like, hey, we want to help your foundation. We want to help you raise money. Like, we want to bring awareness to Owen, his life outside of the tournament.
You asked how Hogan's title reign. His title reign is 1,500 days.
Yeah, Roman's gonna beat that, isn't it? He's gonna beat like Jaws. He's gonna beat, you know, freaking the mech from, you know, Power Rangers.
They
He's
don't
gonna
have
beat Goku and Superman.
He ain't gonna beat Bruno Sammartino though. That record's gonna stand for a long time.
I hope it does.
That's like 5 years.
They're gonna the only person that they have left is Randy Orton for him to go against, and Randy Orton might not even come back.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a big fan of Roman's current run, but his run with the belt now is obvious stat padding. He's not there at all. Like, he has when's the last time he defended the belts? WrestleMania. He's not going to defend it again until he's not going to defend it again until SummerSlam. Then after that, it's like the Saudi show. Then it's Royal Rumble. So if it's just obvious stat padding at this point.
It's sad because I feel like you have a good storyline with the bloodline. It took me a little bit to actually enjoy it, especially when Sammy got a little oosty. That's okay, this stuff's actually funny and coherent. Because for me, I love how MJF has done his run, but that's because I feel like he's had at least better quality matches than Reigns. Roman Reigns he's a Hogan. He's a John Cena. He's a star, and he doesn't need to wrestle or even be on TV. You know, people give MJF crap, but look at Reigns. Reigns is doing the same dang thing.
But MJF does it so well. He doesn't have to wrestle every week, but he still shows up, and it's genius how they do it. Where they say he's contractually obligated to be there. It is so good. You don't see that with Roman Reigns in WWE. They're like, oh, we have to have Roman. No, Roman shows up whenever. And he's barely on the TV. Your main title guy is barely on TV every week. But here's MJF. He doesn't have to wrestle, but he's present. He's on the mic. He's creating moments. You know, last night, I don't know if you guys realized it. I didn't realize it till I saw a TikTok of it. But last night, MJF did a similar promo of how Adam Cole did it in NXT.
I saw that.
So I did not notice that until I saw TikTok. So it was a storyline between Adam Cole and Karrion Kross when Karrion Kross was the NXT champion, and Adam Cole basically said the same thing that MJF said to him last night, and you could see it in MJF's face last night. He was smiling because he knew. He's like, holy crap. He's like, I don't know if I should smile because you remember that promo or laugh because it's so good.
Oh, so good.
I didn't know that. That was a really good point pointing out that someone.
I didn't either until I basically about an hour before we went on air. I saw that TikTok at him.
Yeah.
So I think it's. I think that's. I was like, dude, this is great work from both guys. Michael, what do you think about, just real quick? What do you think about the Roman Reigns storyline? Do you think he should have dropped the belt to Cody at Mania, or do you think, or what was your take on that? Because this is the first time we actually had to sit down and actually speak face to face.
I do think he should have dropped the belts to Cody at Mania, because it would make a lot more sense for what he's doing right now. But I could also see the argument why he kept the belts, and the only reason why I see the argument is because, well, first, for him to lose the belts, the bloodline has to disintegrate, and that's his whole thing. Once he loses that, then he loses the belts. So if they wanted to drag it out till Mania 40 and Cody beats him there, I can I would get on board with that, but I have a feeling that's not going to happen. So
You
therefore,
may tell you what's going to happen.
I'm probably going to hate it.
It's going to be Roman and Cody, WrestleMania 40, and Jacob Fatu will be out of MLW. He's going to help Roman win. Each WrestleMania will have someone new from the family join the club.
I hope not.
Soon it's like, watch, Roman Reigns is going to defend it at WrestleMania 60, and his daughter is going to debut. So, like, yeah, I guess Roman's doing something right because we are talking about Roman Reigns on an All Elite podcast.
Oh,
But
wow.
just look, yeah.
But you have to because if you want to talk about AEW and why they're different from WWE, you have to bring up the champions. You know, we go from these conversations of do we need more belts? These guys as champions, but you kind of, and it sucks because that's the wrestling community we live in nowadays. Is that one group of fans is going to bash the other company and vice versa? When realistically, you should be talking about both companies because both companies are both thriving right now. You know, especially post-pandemic, they're selling out shows. They've got champions. They've got storylines going on. Even in other wrestling promotions, Impact's got some good storylines going on right now. Ring of Honor's got some good storylines going on right now. MLW's got some Triple A. So last Friday, when Mr. Jacobs and I was doing Rampage last Friday, I said I'm very happy that they're featuring the AAA Mega Championship right now. And featuring all these Lucha Libre wrestlers on TV because American audiences don't get to see it very often. And so that's the one difference I like about AEW is they're help promoting and put matches on with wrestlers from other companies when they don't need to. WWE will never do that at all.
Yeah. You know, I know Ethan just put a very comment that I know we've all thought this way. Ethan says WWE will always make money despite itself. WWE has sucked for years. It'll never improve product because they make money. I know I've said on the podcast a couple of times that sometimes it does feel like it's a circus in a way, like the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey kind of mentality where you're not going to go see Bobo the Clown. This is something that Bully Ray. I took this from him because it stuck. Where you're going to go like you're not going to people can go see WWE. And they have that lineage, they have that longevity where they'll keep going. Aside from Reigns, Rollins, Cody, I'd say Sammy and Kevin at this point, Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch. What's up?
What do drop?
Not going there. Don't make me go there. I'm being respectful. I'm the good guy.
What have I missed?
I'm like Tama Tonga. I'm the good guy. And I'm trying to look positive about WWE because there's been a few times I'm like, dang, this is great. Like they have some good things going for them, especially Cody's hard times. Cody's going through some hard times, baby. That was my really bad Dusty Rhodes impersonation. I'm sorry, y'all, but
have you guys seen the impersonator that does Dusty Rhodes?
Oh, that would be amazing.
Like have you guys seen the guy like he's the guy that goes to these conventions. And he's a Dusty Rhodes cosplayer, and he sounds just like Dusty.
I've seen him. I've seen videos of him. Yeah.
Yes.
I want to meet that man.
He went up to Ric Flair and did that, and then he's.
Oh gosh!
If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend watching it. Yeah. It was really funny.
But like I said, I feel like now, I think now we don't need any more belts to AEW. I think now that
I like this comment.
What did it say? Titles should be cross-branded for AEW, or they could have all titles on a brand and just the world title as a cross-brand.
And I think Zach actually liked that comment too. So
yeah.
I like that. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it needs that prestige, and it has that. I mean, good gosh, they've built that title with so much prestige, and MJF is continuing to put that energy behind that title. So, yeah, I definitely want to see it kind of fluid.
Here's one last comment.
Ooh, okay, we can do a fantasy booking. Do you guys want to give one match each and go from there? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Punk versus Joe.
Okay. What about the first show? We already know we're getting Punk versus some kind of Joe in
First
capacity.
show.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I would say I'm gonna just say Action. I'm gonna say Action Andrade versus Andrade El Idolo.
Oh.
Battle of the Andrade.
I'm gonna go with
Oh yeah, the new guys.
I'm going with Orange Cassidy versus Miro for the International Championship.
Oh dang,
Ooh,
that's a banger.
that would
Dang
be
it.
good.
Connor, I'll do you one better. I'll do Orange versus Miro versus Andrade. Triple threat for the international championship.
Oh snap! We get some good fantasy booking.
Oh, yeah. Talking about Mara, I want to see him like go against Luchasaurus or oh gosh, the TNT champion.
Wardlow.
Dude, and Wardlow is like the hybrid man wrestler, pro wrestler, like huge and can do all this high flying amazing stuff. So
I'll tell you that spot with the ladder at Double or Nothing through the table was probably one of the greatest spots I've ever seen a big man do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right, what you thinking, Mike? I can see your wheels turning.
The only thing I could come up with besides anything with Punk is Miro and Orange Cassidy, but Miro has to win the belt.
Yeah.
That's what we had to come up with.
Yeah. I think you have to. I feel like Orange has had a great run, but I think it needs to be at the tail end, or else it's going to turn into not as bad as Jade's run was, but it could potentially get that way. And I get why Tony has a lot of, basically Matt Hardy said it best. He has that same relationship with Tony Khan that Undertaker had with Vince McMahon. So, but I think it's time. I think it's time Cassidy kind of. I think it's time he loses the belt. I think it's in due time. I think it's kind of not dragged on, but it's getting close.
No, but it goes back to what Zach said about bringing prestige to a title. I think Orange has done that with the international title. I really do. With his 24 successful title defenses, he's brought some eyes on that title. So it's only fitting that someone like Miro or someone like Andrade could take it off of him, and keep that prestige going. Especially someone like Andrade, who can. Actually, no, he can't because his contract. I was thinking because I thought he still had his contract with AAA or whatever Mexican promotion, but I guess they had a falling out. But I mean, you can see it with Miro because I'm pretty sure Miro would be a great international champion as well.
Yeah, I think Miro's the best person. Kind of like how he won the TNT championship, going on a really dominant run.
Oh, that was his Redeemer. That was his Redeemer storyline that I freaking loved.
I missed that.
It was so
Miro.
good.
That was one of the balls that AEW did drop. I can't believe it's taken this long to get Miro back on TV.
Well, it was injury too, because I think he was injured for a while. So, but again, I agree. It took him a while to get back, but I think it's perfect timing with Collision to get him back on now.
Now, my question is Lana coming with him?
That's a good question.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Or sorry, CJ Perry. I forgot that's her real name. Sorry, I kind of broke kayfabe there for a second.
I know Miro doesn't have any partners, does he? Well, he had Kip Sabian, but they're not.
Claudio.
Yeah.
He was the best man, so yes, he had Kip.
I was going to say, if there was someone else that Miro had, and of course, Orange Cassidy has Chuck Taylor and his whole charade of people.
Well, interesting though, because think about it, they had him kind of split last night. Like I think they were teasing it. Think about it, because Orange Cassidy was not even involved with the trios tag match.
I was going to say that CJ Perry crosses Orange Cassidy, but if you wanted, I mean, as you said, they teased a little bit last night.
What if Chucky T or Trent takes it? That'd be a fun one.
Or them costing.
Or costing, right. Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of things that could happen. I feel like that's going to steamroll into something big's going to happen on the show, aside from the main event. So definitely make sure you guys come back and check out our watch along for that one. That one's going to be insane. I'm super stoked to have Miro back.
Scorpio Sky. Well.
Yeah. Oh, Scorpio Sky especially. You know, I'm glad that he's healed up, and I'm glad that he's took his time to come back and be healthy. I just want to see a storyline between Britt and Thunder Rosa somewhere down the line, because they had, you know, all that dirty laundry on, you know, the AEW All Access show. Kind of need to do something.
Well, that also depends on the extent of Thunder Rosa's back and injury. I kind of see her, if she's not cleared, I can kind of see her being part of the broadcast team for a while on Collision, being like the female Renee Paquette that Renee Paquette was in NXT and Raw for a while. And seeing someone like Thunder Rosa, you know, doing commentary with Excalibur and maybe JR. Because we also don't know that. We also don't know who's going to be part of that broadcast team on Collision. You know, we already know that JR rotates with Tony Schiavone a lot. So we don't know if they're going to have that too, where they have the same commentators for Collision as they do Dynamite. Maybe you get, you know, Tony Schiavone being, you know, taking the reins of the Excalibur role for Collision.
Do you guys think though maybe we might need some fresh blood, like some younger like commentators in there? Like, what do you think about that, Michael? Do you think we need like some younger guys, or do you think we should kind of keep what we have currently with our announce table and just have like either rotation or have JR on one show and Tony Schiavone on another? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, some new guys would be great. I think while they have JR, I think they should use JR as much as they possibly can. But that really just depends on what he wants to do, because I know he's getting up there in age, and he's probably wants to retire. I don't know him personally, but if I was in Mr. Khan's shoes, I would like to use JR a little bit more.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if it's due to his health, because I know he did have, was it skin cancer last year? And he was
I think so.
Yeah, I think he was still recovering from that. In a way, I can see JR leaving like commentary full time, either coming out like he was for WrestleMania or like the bigger shows, or have him do just the sit down interviews where you can have him come out for like 1 or 2 appearances a month, that way he's not having all the wear and tear on his body. And that way you can get all your shots done within 1 or 2 days. Cause kind of, pulling back the curtain a little bit. Sometimes they do more shots in one day for different shows, but looking at it, but if you look at it, I think it's something that I think JR might be done as a commentator probably at the end of this year. I don't know.
I think through and through, I can't complain about the commentary too much. I do like Taz on commentary, but I can't overall. I don't really.
I do know this year, sometime this year is JR's 50th, 50 years of him commentating in pro wrestling. So his contract expires pretty soon. 50 years.
That's crazy.
Are we talking about the Collision commentary team?
Yeah.
I like this one. I don't know what he does anymore, but Joey Styles. I don't know what he does.
Ooh, Matt Stryker. Bring Matt Stryker over. I liked him for some
reason. Yeah.
I loved Matt Stryker and Lucha Underground. He was with him and Vampiro on commentary. I freaking loved it. I loved it.
I forgot Vampiro was. I forgot.
Yeah, dude, I miss that show so much.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that used to be in WWE that was really good?
What's it?
Marlo?
Marlo. Yeah.
They need to get him.
Apparently, what happened with that is, I guess he was bullied by
that's right,
by John Bradshaw or something. Like Bradshaw bullied him, and he felt attacked for his depression and stuff. So he's like, I'm done. So he left.
Yeah. It'd be great to see him.
Dang it, JBL!
If anyone's ever in Dark Side of the Ring, sometimes JBL got what came to him.
We need to do a whole episode on JBL.
He's a great performer, but sometimes just watch Dark Side of the Ring, some of the stuff he's done. But I think
shout out to them. Great show.
I think Nigel and Ranello and Jim Ross would be good. That would be good.
That's one thing with looking at just JBL is just a freaking prick. He's an ass. I was gonna think about at least Owen. Like Owen's ribs were funny. the thing is, they were funny, and you know, you were not full on outright bullying and harassing grown ass men.
Did you see what he did in the Eddie Guerrero feud?
No.
You wouldn't get away with that these days.
Connor, why don't you? Well, we have time. Why don't you tell a brief synopsis of the story?
Please, yeah.
This is not my view on things, but this was JBL's storyline. I don't know. He might feel that way in real life, but they're in the feud of JBL and Eddie Guerrero. JBL, I don't know if it was real. Like they actually went to the border. I don't know how they did that, but it was him at the border and these people coming through. And he said,
"Oh gosh,
all right, as I said, not my view on things, but this is JBL's words. He said, take your ass back over there. Don't you cross this border."
Oh my gosh. JBL said that?
Yep. He said
that was SmackDown 2004.
It was mid 2000s. They could do shit like that. I don't know.
He said it.
Yeah. Well,
also,
there was also some really bad. I've seen some really bad stuff with Triple H, and
I know
that was really bad.
I know JBL.
How did that work?
I know JBL hit Eddie Guerrero's grandmother or someone at a live event. Like that feud was really entertaining. I don't know if that was his views or not, but he did it. I'd like to know the backstory of how they actually filmed that. Like, was that actually at the border, or what? That would be interesting to know.
Yeah, that's. Well, I think we'll never know that. I think that's gonna be so buried or deleted off Peacock. It's not even funny.
Oh,
there's some really bad stuff I've seen like this week. People have gone in, fans have gone in and found stuff that will never make it to Peacock or on the WWE Network just because it was so bad and during the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. There was some stuff in the Ruthless Aggression Era. Like, how the heck did they get away with this? Don't forget about Heidenreich. His nice little poem to Michael Cole as he did some very violent stuff to him and pressed his hair gently.
Do you know what?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like with Peacock, like they even got ECW stuff on there, and ECW was so beyond like what you could show on television. Like, and yet it's on Peacock. Like, it's the only reason I have Peacock because I want to watch old ECW episodes because I miss them so much.
Like that's why JBL makes you think of MJF, because he says it's like the Nakeshita stuff. He says stuff that offends people, but he does it where you hate him and then you want to see him get his butt whooped, so you keep on watching. Yeah. That's what MJF's good about. Like kind of like Chris is a perfect example. He hates MJF with a passion, but he keeps on watching because he wants to see him get his butt whooped eventually.
Yeah. It's still real to me, damn it. It's still real to me.
But for commentary, I think the perfect fit, if you couldn't get Ranello, maybe get Matt Striker or someone, but the perfect three I think would be Nigel, Ranello, and Jim Ross.
That'd be a good combination. Could you imagine? My God, and oh my God, he's going up to the top rope. What's he gonna do next? My God.
Mamma Mia.
You said it best.
Oh my God.
Mamma Mia.
That's what I missed from is his Mamma Mia. That I loved it. I
respect him as a talent, but I could not stand him in WWE. But I don't know if it's just because of how he was being chirped in one ear. I had a hard time watching his stuff.
I don't know about his WWE stuff, but his NXT stuff. It sounded like he was like Jim Ross a little bit. It sounded like he was gonna have a heart attack. Look how loud he was.
Yeah. NXT was made for him.
And he wasn't as annoying. See, the worst one is Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee was the worst commentating WWE ever had. Like, I could not stand the guy.
I'll tell you, and I love the documentary, The Rise and Fall of ECW. Like, the night that Paul Heyman came to Raw to do commentary with Jim Ross. And it was I don't know if you guys remember it. It's on the documentary. Heyman's talking about it. It's the segment where Vince is in the ring making Trish strip. And you hear a line from Paul, and Paul Heyman says this. This was Paul Heyman. This wasn't me. Paul Heyman goes, "Hey, Ma, I came to Washington, and I get to see Bush."
That's bad. Like I said, these were comments made.
He said
ECW.
He said this on a Raw But it was funny because on the documentary, he goes, and he quoted on the documentary Rise and Fall of ECW, he goes, well, who's going to get me in trouble? The boss is in the ring. I've got everybody else backstage like chirping in my ear, but they can't do anything because the boss is in the ring. You know, so it's like that. Shit. And that's when Paul was like, he's like, that's when I realized my ceiling in WWE from ECW, where I couldn't go.
Yeah. That was the thing about it. He went from, the most probably uncensored wrestling promotion at the time to Vince McMahon's juggernaut. So yeah, poor Paul Heyman. I'm gonna have to go watch that documentary now. Thanks, Adam.
The Rise and Fall of ECW. It's such a good documentary.
Yeah, because that's one that I feel like it was very sad about. That WCW could have been prevented if the network wanted to keep it, at least from what I've heard from actual fans, not just people that were huge, Raw fans back in the day. So that'll be a fun episode we'll do here in the future. Is I'm going to interview. I don't know if we're going to have a full panel or if we're going to do Zach, Adam, and Mr. Jacobs and sit down like what it was like watching during that time, because I was barely born. Not trying to make you guys feel old here, but I was barely born during that time. So like I only know it from what I've seen from WWE and then what I've seen from actual WCW fans, like the hardcores. So yeah, we have that somewhere down the road here, probably the next month. But as we start to wind down, I want to pose you guys with this last question. What do you guys think about doing a Survivor Series type show? Do you think that would be something that would work? Or do you think maybe just do like a special like Anarchy in the Arena or a Blood and Guts match? Or do you think we should do like a full-on brand warfare?
Like what
kind of like an elimination tag for like Survivor Series. You know how like with Survivor Series, how like they have like champion versus champion, and then have like the big matchup at the end between both rosters.
You're talking about Collision versus Dynamite.
Yeah,
that sounds really interesting. I know.
I'd love to see that.
But it would be really, really cool if AEW had like their own Survivor. Basically, call AEW Civil War. Really, that's what That's what it's going to be called, if you can call it anything.
You could do the 3 week special, Fyter Fest, Fight for the Fallen, and then wasn't there one more fighter themed show?
Fight for the Fallen.
So like something like that, but do like that as your special.
And then Winter is Coming. Winter is Coming was another one that they would do. So
I love that one. Yeah,
I would slate it to be like a special like Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen. That's what I would do, but because I feel like that's the hard part with Survivor Series. It's such a prestige name when you have something like that. But what only happened recently, where it was brand versus brand, maybe last 20 years, I want to say. Am I correct on that, Adam? Or when did you first start seeing like brand versus brand for that?
The brand split in 2009, 2008, I believe. You started seeing the pay-per-view bragging rights with SmackDown versus Raw. And that, but I mean, even now you're starting to, I mean, you pretty much have a Survivor Series style in AEW, but it's just called Forbidden Door. It's AEW versus New Japan right now. You're basically seeing it now with 2 different promotions. I like the idea of doing inner company, like inner promotion, like a Collision versus a Dynamite. But the fact that they're introducing an American audience to New Japan Pro Wrestling is awesome. And the fact that they're doing a second one this year proves that the first one last year was successful. I mean, last year is where we got to see Claudio debut. It was awesome to see him debut. You got to see a great fatal 4-way match for the New Japan Pro Wrestling NWGP, the heavyweight champion, or was it the U.S. title? Was it the 4-way or the heavyweight? Because it was Okada, Cole. I'm trying to remember who the other 2 were.
Was it Jay White?
Jay White was one.
Jay White, and then what's his name filled in. I forgot. another cowboy style guy from MLW. Hammerstone. Was it Hammerstone? No, Connors. It was Connors, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was in the. Wasn't he in the international championship?
No, he was in that fatal 4-way. He filled in because I think someone who was supposed to be in it got hurt, and he filled in that 4-way.
Yeah.
It was like 2 days. You could Google it, but that I kind of remember as Connors. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting that you could do a Collision versus Dynamite. You just have to figure out how to do it, you know? Like, I don't want to see the wash, rinse, repeat of a champ versus a champ to see who's better. Like, I like the idea of keeping the storylines going for each brand on the show, but also maybe have like a traditional, 4 people from Dynamite versus 4 people from Collision. And doing an elimination or do it a Texas Tornado kind of style,
Yeah, no, I like that, Adam. It's almost like do the traditional Survivor Series match, and then whoever's left over at the end of the match, they go on next week. So if it's like all 4, it's a 4-way, 3, 3-way, and so on. And then the winner of that maybe gets, to face the world champ or one of the titles.
Yeah. What about you, Michael? What do you think about a Survivor Series themed show between the 2 brands?
I've been trying to think of something, but I don't think it works, in my opinion, because to me, with WWE, when they do Survivor Series and they do the brand versus brand, they have something to work with because they do a pay-per-view every month. And they have the Royal Rumble and stuff. So it boggles my mind that it's just brand versus brand, but there needs to be some stakes involved. Like, why should Raw care about beating SmackDown? There should be like some prize involved. Mm-hmm. Whereas AEW kind of has like only 5 shows a year. And I don't know how they could really work that unless they do it on Dynamite or Collision, or they bring more pay-per-views, but those pay-per-views are freaking $60, $50. So I don't know what to do.
Yeah, especially they lower the prices. Yeah,
I think.
Well, yes, it's the hard part. It's like we were so used to paying $10 a month $9.99 a month for the network. Yeah, well, that stuck in my head from Triple H. I swear he came out every week just doing the $9.99.
Oh yeah, they had no shame.
Are you back when I was growing up? Those old school WWF pay-per-views were only like $35.
Yeah,
like back in the 90s, like when I got the Royal Rumble in '98, like it was like 35 plus like tax. Well, I didn't pay for it; my mom paid for it because I begged her to get it for me. But like, yeah, no, it's just pay-per-views are. It's not just AEW pay-per-views; it's WWE pay-per-views as well. Everything's so expensive. If you don't have Peacock, you have to order the pay-per-view for WWE. Like, it sucks, and you're already paying a price for streaming for Peacock to try to get the streaming service for it. So you're paying monthly fees there. That's going to add up at the end of the year. You're already paying what you would pay for a pay-per-view.
Let me tell you something. I pay $10 a month for Peacock to watch these pay-per-views, and I still get 3-minute commercials, and I hate it.
That's why I don't watch them live.
I watched WrestleMania with a chip on my shoulder because I saw Cinnamon Toast Crunch ads for Rey Mysterio and Dominic, and I hated it.
Dude, that ruined the whole match for me. That took me out of that match.
Dude,
it wasn't worse. It wasn't worse than the Mountain Dew blackout match. I'll tell you that much.
Oh God, why'd you bring that up?
I mean, that's why we haven't seen Bray Wyatt in like how many months now?
Bray.
I really think
he got screwed.
I think WWE will be the company to do a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse match and have the bouncy house in the ring.
Well, hey there, buddy. It's Roman Reigns versus Goofy.
We talked about that before, didn't we? Gosh, he's gonna spear him. Gosh. Acknowledge me. Gosh.
Roman Reigns just put, Elias through the announce table.
Off topic. I've been to both WWE and AEW shows, and WWE is so much prettier to look at in person. But oh my god, the shows feel so. It almost feels like I'm at work when I was working for a corporation. It does. They're like you get the little pop music with the WWE superstars are friendly and like we are friendly, and I'm like, oh
Yeah,
god,
that family package.
We are family friendly, and then you turn over to AEW and Moxley's bleeding for the 50th time on TV.
Oh man, some of the words.
Freaking Arn Anderson just biting someone's thumb off.
I don't care that WWE's PG. I hate that it feels so corporate.
I think that's kind of where a lot of people have turned them off. You have the diehards that are still watching, and the families and generations, but for us, like as a wrestling fan, it just feels too polished. I miss the days when you could improv in the ring. I miss those days. That's why AEW I love. It has different style. There's different action, but I just don't need to see a drop down toe hold every 5 matches. Or
the stage. The stage is a literal LED wall.
Oh yeah,
I hate when they did the SmackDown anniversary, and all we got was the graphic of the fist. Like they didn't bring back the old SmackDown.
Yeah,
no,
they still have the fist in the warehouse. They could have brought it back for one night.
I mean, I will give them respect when they did the. I will give them respect for the 1000th anniversary of Raw. They did bring back the Raw letters.
Yeah,
as homage of when they start. I will give them that much, but I enjoy the atmosphere of an AEW show. Granted, I haven't been to one since the one in Nashville, but I've been to a WWE show, and I don't know why, but I enjoy the atmosphere. AEW is what WCW and ECW wanted to be. Combined into one. I mean, they tried it with the invasion angle where they had ECW and WCW as a team against Team WWF, and it was something that should have worked but didn't. Now you have AEW. AEW is basically combined WCW and ECW with a little bit of Lucha Libre and all that stuff into one, and that's why I enjoy AEW.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like last week's Rampage. I mean that show could have been a pay-per-view on its own. Yeah, I totally agree, Adam. Absolutely.
Well, I think too when you go to like the events too, like I have met so many friends at those events. Like I maybe spoke to 1 or 2 people at WWE. But I met a couple people at the WWE pay-per-view, but and when we've gone, but it just doesn't have that same feeling. It doesn't feel like we're close with anybody. It just feels quiet, and it feels like we'll cheer but quiet. When I went to the AEW, I remember when I heard like we were waiting for a Hook and Taz segment. This is when Hook was about to debut, and we're sitting there, and Taz and Hook come out before, and the crowd just starts chanting Justin Bieber at Hook. and dude, and Hook is trying not to break character. Taz just said, I'm gonna break character, starts embarrassing him, like messing with his hair. He grabbed the mic before, because during a commercial break, he's like, y'all Texans are funny. he's like, boy, now I'm looking at you, you kind of look like Justin Bieber. You need to start gaining muscle. It was just something like that where like having those little things like that. And there's been times where MJF has cut some of the best promos, but we'll never see him.
I've been to AEW in Nashville, and I've been to AEW in Greensboro a couple of years ago, and I thought they were both fantastic shows to attend, and way better than attending a WWE show live.
I agree. I was the one in Nashville that I went to that I actually, that Connor and I connected afterwards. Connor, you were there. Nobody was sitting during that Mercedes Martinez Thunder Rosa street fight. Nobody. Everybody was standing and being active in it. Like it was so exciting. Like the crowd was into that match. No one was sitting. One thing I noticed with WWE is when the crowd stands for one big move and then after it's done, they all sit back down. It's like, dude, you're watching a great match. You should be standing up if it's going all over the place and it's being crazy. You need to be active in it. And I guess that's the difference I see with crowds with WWE and AEW.
Like WWE's
I think-
lucky that they had a good crowd for Backlash. Oh my god!
Oh, that Puerto
That
Rican
was-
crowd was crazy.
I like to
Oh,
see
the
AEW
energy.
go there. I like to see
I like
AEW.
that better than WrestleMania. I thought they were
Yeah.
louder than the stadium full of people.
Yep.
I like to see AEW go there. That would be really, really, really cool.
Well, I think All In at Wembley is going to be a really good show.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get some good reactions. Anytime a wrestling promotion goes international, they're going to get some good reactions from the crowd. Doesn't matter if it's WWE or AEW. They're going to get a good reaction. That's why all those shows for Collision in Canada, they're going to get great reactions from the Canadian crowd because the Canadian crowd understands professional wrestling.
That, for
Yeah.
sure. With the Hart Foundation, the whole Hart family dynasty up there. Yeah. I'm so jealous. I wish that was happening down here in Texas. I really wish, but I just gotta be patient because I got spoiled last year. But other than that, guys, I'm super excited for Collision. I'm excited for all of us to get on stream and talk about it. So that's going to do it for Talking Elite this week. It was awesome to be back, and it was a pleasure to have Zach and Michael on.
Thank you.
Brandon says he's got Talking Leads back. I am too. Thank you guys so much for your understanding and patience. Next week's episode, I'm going to announce that here in just 1 second, and it's going to be a very good one. I promise. Connor and I are fine. We are good. We won't go into details. We're good. China, that would
It'd be different, sure.
Be different.
That'll
I
be
prefer
interesting.
Japan.
Yeah.
Japan, I think
Oh.
Japan would be better.
That'd
Well,
be
they have
good.
they have that episode of Dark Side of the Ring when they did a
North
I don't know if
Korea.
it was the North Korea episode, yeah, and they talked about that.
I'll have to watch that.
I love that. That was
That one was good. Yeah, that one
amazing.
it was crazy. Yeah, about the tensions you get there.
Yeah.
Like when the wrestler's saying we could barely leave our room because security was right outside the door and told us what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
do.
like I said, yeah.
I think Brandon was referring to that the CM Punk stuff, but yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, we're
Brandon.
good.
Something
We're
to worry
good.
about.
Yeah, like I said, it was just a mental health break. I'm fine.
Yep.
Doing good. Anyways, so thank you to Zach and Michael for both hopping on. It was a pleasure to meet you guys finally and actually sit down and work
Same
with
here.
you guys.
Thank you.
So thank you guys so much. And of course, Connor and Adam, thank you guys for coming back. I appreciate the love and the support both you guys have brought back into the show. And, it was a great show. I had a great time tonight. We're going to try to make sure every Friday it's going to drop on Spotify. So if you guys are listening on Spotify, we do our live recordings mostly every Thursday unless something comes up where I have a fire station shift where that's another thing I did when I was kind of to my break. I was training for firefighting. So
Awesome.
so we might have to do a pre-recording for it for a Thursday and Friday special, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes. But like I said, we'll be recording live every Thursday. So come on in, drop your comments down below. And for those of you guys that commented, thank you guys so much for all the love and support you gave us tonight. Thank you guys for all your great points, your questions. Make sure you guys keep that up. If you guys want to as well, make sure you guys go follow us on Twitter at All Elite Zone 1. We have a whole new updated look thanks to Connor and Michael. They have both been kicking ass behind the scenes. Thank you guys so much for the new graphics. They look great. And Connor's been just doing some great work as well. But Michael just really kick ass, man. Like great work, man.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, whole new look for the All Elite Zone and for Talking Elite. So he's put a lot of time and effort into that. So make sure you guys do that. Also follow us on Spotify. Make sure you guys also use the hashtag Talking Elite and also use hashtag All Elite Zone. Put your questions there. We'll respond to them on Twitter and here on the show and our live streams. So we're gonna be more involved with our community, and we want you guys to help us grow. So make sure you guys share. Like this video, make sure you tell your friends about it. Let's just keep growing because we have a lot of steam going. We have some great shows planned, some great specials, some great vlogs. Connor, what do you got in the pipeline coming up?
I know I forgot to touch base on Wednesday last night, but next Wednesday we have an interview ROH
Dude.
tag team, the Outrunners. They'll be on here an hour before Dynamite. They'll be on from turning the time 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. They'll be on an hour before Dynamite. They've been on ROH. They've been on Impact a little bit. They've been everywhere. I think in the next few years you'll see them on TV, the AEW, because they got that 80s. Like they should have been in the 80s. Like why are you in this time? Like they're way past their time that they should have been. It's kind of like Randy Savage was ahead of his time. Like these guys are backwards in time. Like they took a time machine and came to 2023. But they'll be on next Wednesday, an hour before Dynamite.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So, do you guys want to hear next week's show?
Yes, somebody asked about it.
We are going to be honoring the great Iron Sheik. Fortunately, he did pass away. So we are going to do a very special episode dedicated for him. We're going to talk about the life, his career, funny, crazy stories that we were talking beforehand about an interview I saw with him and the Macho Man that got a little out of hand. So we'll share some funny stories about that. So stay tuned to our socials and make sure you guys come join us for the Iron Sheik episode. And then the following week, we are going to be hopefully building up to Forbidden Door. So we'll discuss anything Forbidden Door between our two matches. Hopefully we'll have some great stuff coming up between Collision and Dynamite to get us ready for this crazy, cross-promotion pay-per-view. And also make sure you guys come back here tomorrow night for our Rampage watch-along. Anything else, guys, that we need to add or say?
No.
All right.
Thank you guys for joining us. That's it. Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Love y'all. And my panel, thank you guys again. You guys are awesome. Everybody listening in the comment section, everybody listening on Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, you guys take care. We'll see you guys next week for talking the best jabroni there ever was and there ever will be. We'll be talking Iron Sheik next week, so we'll see you guys next time. Good night.